the reason why shows like Seinfeld is so unique is because Larry David found a way to combine stories together, unique and unusual stories that you don't really see on television, and combine them into one big outrageous joke. And they did that in a lot of episodes. And The Glasses is an episode where I tried to do that. And it's the perfect example of too much too soon, I would say. Well, Mr. Drakers, he's having a family reunion coming up, and guess what? He invited me to go with him.
Really? Why? I thought he hated you.
I don't know why. I guess he approves of my work a lot.
So he considers you a part of the family, you think?
I remember filming that episode in early August, I think it was. And it had been a month since any heavy-duty episodes had been out. And Joe and Nick were asking me where are the other ones, because they knew there were more. And I told them there were more. And I looked through the tape, and it turned out that that was the last episode, because I thought there were like at least 6 of them. But it turned out there were only 4 of them. So when The Glasses came around, that was the last episode with Nick Selko and Joe Bettino. But what ended up happening was that turned out to be the last episode with Nick Selko. Because Joe was in one more after that, but this was the last one with Nick. And I remember, there's one thing about this episode. Now, I just want to say this for the fact. I was not satisfied with this episode when it came out. So I know what you're thinking. Why would you release it? Well, I did so much with that show. It was sort of all over the place. The whole thing with the Cheese Festival with Mr. Drakers, that wasn't that good, but it was going to combine the story in the end. I was trying to find a way to juxtapose things. And the cheese thing, that's actually what turned off a lot of people, including Dan Edgar. Dan Edgar wasn't proud of that episode, and yet he was in it because he was doing the voice of Mr. Drakers in that episode. And he told me that the whole thing with the cheese wasn't that funny. It didn't really make sense. And I get that. I understand that completely. But I was trying to use it to combine these two stories where because in this episode Mr. Drakers is blind because of a car accident, which is my fault because of Joe. And he mentions he's going to a cheese festival earlier. I'm eating pasta later. He can smell that, but he can't see it. And then he chases me out. I have a headband around that's like toilet paper. It's not a real head bandage. Nick helps me up. It's all over the place. And I didn't know where this was going, and it was very confusing. And there's one thing I did in this episode. I may have done it in a couple other episodes, but this one, you can clearly see it in plain sight. And you can see it in a couple of scenes, too. But I hate it when characters, especially in shows or movies or anything, they explain exposition. I can't stand that. But I do it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I have done that. But I did it because... Now here's the one scene where I can't stand where I talk about it. I do this whole thing. There's a scene where I'm in my bedroom and I'm talking to Nick on the phone. And this conversation goes on for like 5 minutes. Now, originally, Nick Selko was supposed to have a scene there, but it was never shot. So I remember calling him up and saying, Nick, could you come over here? We can do this one scene real quick. And he couldn't make it. He tried everything. I'm sure he did, but he didn't find a way to make it. So I pretended to do so I did the whole phone thing that I do in the first and second season. And I really didn't like doing them because you can tell it's so fake. And those scenes go on for a long time when I'm just on the phone talking. And, that went on for like 2 minutes. It could have been shorter. The episode was a lot longer.
Yeah. And plus don't forget to hook your friend up Joe with some numbers.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
See you later, Nick.
Hey. I will hook you up if you hook me up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Come on, Nick needs someone to love.
This is the only episode that is not on YouTube, which really got under my skin. And the reason why is because it was too long. Because YouTube has that whole 15-minute rule, which I think is complete BS. Because I have seen videos on YouTube that are like well over an hour. This episode was 16 minutes long. It was a minute longer. You have got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. So this was the only episode that never made it to YouTube, so I had to put it on Facebook instead, and I didn't want this show to be on Facebook. I wanted it to be in syndication on Facebook, which is you just put the episode on Facebook, but it's from YouTube, you know. So, but the sad thing is that was the only episode that never made it to YouTube because it was too long, and I took it down and I tried making it shorter and I re-uploaded it, but then it was 30 seconds overdue. It was stupid. But eventually I just gave up and I said, all right, just screw it. So if people who haven't seen it, it's on the Facebook page on Heavy Duty. You just got to go all the way down and look for it at the beginning of the Facebook page. But it's out there. It's out there. I like to think of it as a lost episode.